a lay speaker for several years, and this is what the Methodist Church uses lay speakers for, to fill the pastor's uh, post when they can't make it for whatever reason. And so I go to God and and ask, beg for His words. Sometimes they come and sometimes they don't. I think a whole lot of it is I don't let it happen. And so today we're gonna see what happens, and and that's what the title is: when life happens. Uh, at times we think, I do, life is useless. It's useless. It's senseless, and that's a hard thing to say, and a hard thing to think about. But everybody's doing it. We get up in the morning, we go to work, raise the kids, try to build that home. What else is there? When the kids are grown, what do? We look for the grandkids, don't we? Got to have that youth. Got to have something to do besides build a home, go to work, raise a kid. Just carry mundane with those three things. So let's expand on that a little bit more. Let's take life a little bit further than the basic stuff that we do. Let's add relationships to our life. You know, we've got spouses, we've got the kids, the grandkids, but that's it. Oh, we go to work. You don't want to make too many friends at work. And a lot of people think you like them or something. But let's add different relationships to our mundane life. And let's go to the store across the street. There's some friends over there. Let's make a friend or two at work. It's almost hard to do. Wanda, you didn't make any friends at work, did you, when you went to work? You know, you with the same people all the time, and you've got to make some friends there. But how deep that friendship goes is up to you and that other person. And that's where we're at today. What can we do? Build relationships with those at work, with our neighbors. I have a problem with that. I don't associate with one of my neighbors. I tried, but I don't associate. The neighbors across the road there, I have no idea who they are. I'm in my own little world, in my own little spot in the world. Let's raise our kids while in a loving, nurturing relationship with our spouses, with our parents, with our grandparents. Let's build that loving home that we thought about when we were young, vibrant, ready to tackle the world. Some of us are still tackling the world. Hey, I got a good idea. Let's go to church. Let's have Christian friends in our life. Let's have other families together in our life. Even our neighbors. We can have a whole society of friends, a new way of life. I know I'm not saying anything different. Not saying anything different. I'm going to go to Psalm 127. But I think I get stuck in a rut. And what I'm up here for is to try to get what I say may not have anything to do with you at all, but it might have something to say to someone you know that's having trouble, that just ain't there, and you can tell. Psalm 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand watch in vain. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their opponents in court. In that psalm, life without God is senseless. When you really think about it, if we try to go to work, make a living, raise the family, be a supporting spouse, without God, all of that is kind of senseless because we really don't know which way we're going. Life is important to God. It's important to us. Can you tell my dilemma here? I argue all the time with myself, sometimes with God. When building anything, we have to make sure we have a good, solid foundation. When building that life of ours, we have to have that foundation, and that foundation is God. Without God in our lives, yes, it goes that meaningless thing. We have to have a relationship with God the Father. And that's not just going to church on Sunday mornings. We have to have God in our lives. We have to be with God, sun up, sun down, asking God, listening to God, talking, walking, working with God. Buildings, bridges, families have to have that strong foundations. So why not my life? Our relationship with God must go far and beyond just church attendance and regular devotion. It should affect every task we're involved with. God wants us there at his feet, beside him, listening, learning, loving. So yes, Wendell, it brings up that the grandkids' time around us. We want that with our family. So why wouldn't God want us to be with him? Having a friend in Jesus isn't just a song. It's life itself. When our life is threatened, when something goes wrong, it begins to shake us to the very core. Things happen, don't they? I remember trying to go to work one night. It was raining and had a flat tire. Things happen. It starts with small stuff. You know, small stuff like a tire going flat. Small stuff like a tooth hurts. But it gets bigger. It gets more important. It becomes aggravating that instead of just the tire needs to be fixed, I got to have 4 tires put on my car. It's been too long. They're wore out. I'm having a hard time relating to this problem at work. How do you handle that? Problems at home with the family, with the spouse. Something's not going right. We're not close like we were. We're not able to go and be together and enjoy each other's company. Those kind of problems needs help. I can't fix Katie. And Katie can't fix me without God's help. We can't enjoy a trip to Cincinnati without God being there with us through it all, through the good and the bad. Life gnaws at us little by little. I get this, we say. I got it. And then 2020 hit. And that just throwed everything out of proportion. Go to the store and you got to go back to the car because you forgot what? I can't breathe, so you take it down, you take it off. And you start thinking, oh my gosh, what's the other person thinking about me? I don't care about them. I'm lost. And you notice this morning I haven't worn it at all this morning. Ron's got his on and off. I can do that, but I'm afraid I'll pull something out. I was at the grocery store, this is a few weeks ago. Carts collided, and this older lady said, I'm so sorry, I got this mask on, all fogged up. We can make light of some of the things that are going on in our lives. I went through, I don't know, about 2 months ago, I don't know what to call it. It was a time to where I wanted to sink into myself. Just, I don't know what it was. Things at work, things at home, things out on the road. I don't know what it was, but I really was deep. Talking to God, it was just like he was way over yonder, too busy with something. I didn't feel him. And I finally met a friend, had a meeting with a friend that we talked and we prayed. And since that, well, since before the meeting, I knew I was going to meet up with him, things started getting a little better. And it was a good thing because I wouldn't have been standing here rambling, if you will, if it were not. But a close and personal relationship is where I'm going with this. Close and personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ is the only way to tackle anything that comes our way. It may be just a mental blurb that makes me feel there is no way to get better. But talking with God, actually talking with God as a friend, asking for help, telling him what I really feel, brings things to light. What was it? It came up. But talking with God, walking with God, working with God makes all things possible. What's that verse, Katie? What's that verse? Makes all things possible through Christ? Yeah. And what is that? Philippians? Yeah. When life hits, it seems that it doesn't hit quite so hard when we have someone as big as God right there with us. Just take, Moses. Remember Moses out of the Bible? He had a life. I know he did. But I don't remember what he did. I don't know whether he was a shepherd or what he was. But he had a life until God needed him. And can you imagine at that moment, in those first few months, maybe a year, what Moses was going through? Changed his whole life, his whole way of thinking, and now I got to put up with all of these people behind me that just complain. But Moses made it. He had some personal friends that kept him strong. I'm sure he did. Aaron, was Aaron with him? Aaron was with him. And there was God. And he made it. He made it to Egypt, made it through the Pharaoh, brought all of those people out, and went through another obstacle. I did that wrong. And he went right through all of those people. If he can do that, and I'm talking God, can work through Moses, Estill, Delilah's, he can work through us. He can open up that river, that sea of trouble. Let's look at Mary. Mary, when she became pregnant as a teenager. Oh, the talk of the town. The humiliation. But God was right there with her. Made her able to go through. Able to stand strong. Know what she was doing was right. She didn't have God with her. Well, one, she wouldn't have become pregnant. Maybe. But without God, she couldn't have been the teacher that she was, the friend that she was, the mother that she was. And we're in the same boat. Only our problems are different. They may seem small to that, but they're not, because they're holding us back. They're not letting us shine like we ought to. So we go to God every moment of our lives for everything that goes on. And then there's Job. I have to bring up Job because Job is my man. Job is the one that I go to think about when things get really rough, when things really get tough. Job was a godly man, followed God all the time, was right there with him. You know how it is. The family was right there. And then things started going away. He started losing stuff. Death. Losing his livelihood. Almost losing his whole self. If it were not for God right there beside him. So having God is an important part of our lives. No matter how small you think your life is, or how big things are getting out of control, God is there. We just have to have that relationship with him, that we're there with him all the time, that he is with us all the time. That didn't sound right. He's always with us. It's us who move. But it's the relationship that is important. And I think a whole lot of people, yes, they know God is there. Something is there. And they've heard about Jesus, even just a little bit, but they don't, I don't think we use that relationship like we should. Having God is an important part of our lives all the time, not just Sunday mornings, is, I think, easier than life itself. Let's go to prayer. Father, I thank you for your word. Thank you for being with us here today. And you were with us this morning when we first woke up. Help us to realize that it takes nothing from us to recognize you every single moment of the day. It doesn't take but just a few words to say a prayer out to you. Lord, help me. He knows what you need. Lord, help me. As we go out today, be with us. Be with us. Keep us strong.